So first things first, let's look at C. How do we get h by itself here? Divide by pi r squared. So our volume over pi r squared equals that height. Genuinely, the only time I think this could ever be helpful is if I know how much soda I want to fit in a can, and I know the radius of my can has to be something to fit in a box. I could figure out how tall I can make it. That'll be the only time we need to have it in that order. Okay, so then D and E look real scary. Same vibe. How do I get A by itself? I would like him by himself. What was our first step? Yeah. It's V naught is how we read that. That just means at the start. V at the start. It's a velocity thing. So we're going to subtract our V naught T from both sides. V naught T. Not N-A-U-G-H-T, not N-O-T. Naught, meaning 0. So we have H minus V naught T. We will see V naught but another time, but not right now. But it's a good way to introduce you to the concept of naught. Just means at the start. 1/2 A T squared. And I still want A by himself. What can we do to get A by himself? I don't care what this side looks like. I just want A by himself. Multiply by 2. Absolutely valid. We can times by 2. That's going to make this fraction go away. Just means I need to times this side by 2. So we're going to have 2. And you can either multiply it in or you can just write it out in front. I do not care. H V naught T equals A T squared. Still wanting A by himself. What do we do? I heard somebody start to say something. Yeah, divide. By what? By the T squared, because that's going to make those guys cancel. But whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So our A equals this hot mess of crazy. 2 times the parentheses H minus V naught T over T squared. And I'm 100% okay with us leaving it messy. If you want to distribute the 2 through, you can, because that'll let you simplify a T on the second half of the equation. Gross. You can. But I'm 100% okay with us leaving it messy. The bottom one is by far the grossest. It is the grossest one in here. Huh? For D, it's this hot mess over here. This is the answer for part D. A equals 2 times parentheses H minus V naught T over T squared. It's gross and messy. So on E, we have a fraction, and it's a gross fraction. So if we see a fraction, how do I get rid of the fractioniness? Multiply. When in doubt, multiply by what? Yeah, by our denominator. So I'm just covering that up so I can write there. So I'm going to times this side by, not that pen, this pen. 3xy plus 8. So I can times this side by 3xy plus 8. Because then those guys cancel. We like that. 2xy minus 7 equals, and I'm going to distribute that 1 through, which is 3xy plus 8. Still gross, but less gross. Less gross is a good direction. I want my y's together so I can get my y's by themselves. What can I do to get my y's together? They are on either side of an equal sign. How can I get them to be on the same side? What if it was 2x plus 7 equals 3x plus 8? How would we get my x's together on this one? Yeah, we'd subtract. It's the same over here. Just because it's xy doesn't change what we're doing. So when in doubt, make it simpler in your head. So if it was just x, we would subtract, or we would add, or subtract. Subtract, because it's positive 2. So I'm going to minus my 2xy. This is 2 really weird apple pies. I'm going to take away 2 really weird apple pies. Going to leave us with minus 7 equals 3 apple pies. Take away 2 apple pies. Leaves us with 1 apple pie. XY, apple pie. Plus 8. Now that I have my y's together, we can work towards getting y by himself. What do we need to do to get y by himself? We will need to divide by x. It's going to make us a really, really gross fraction if we do that right now. Subtract the 8. If we deal with the adding and subtracting before we do any dividing, we wind up with the lowest chance of fraction. Not negating the chance of fraction, just the lowest chance of fraction. So we have negative 7 minus 8, giving us minus 15 equals xy. Now what do we do to get y by itself? Divide by x, because that makes those guys cancel out, but whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So it gives us y equals negative 15 over x. Or you can write it the other way. Y equals negative 15 over x. So they're gross, and they're weird, and they're annoying. And there's something that happens in real life in like formulas and stuff. So whenever we have a formula and they want you to solve for a thing, that's what this is. Okay? Homework 3 is very much based on that next page in the book. In fact, I believe the equations are identical to the very next page in the book on homework 3. Okay? So, work on homework 3. I believe that is, if not the last, very close to the last homework for section 3. For this chapter. There might be one more after. I think we might have 4. Okay, but that I believe is the only homework this week. All right, so use this time, work on stuff, ask questions. I am here to help. Bathroom?
No.
What's up?
Get my bag from my coach's office.
Yes. I'd like your name a little bit clearer then, so they know I actually, because they don't check tons on the bathroom passes. What's up, okay?